When mentioned Ghana, perhaps not many people know about this country, but they know the Ghanaian football team, famous as the Black Stars, player Michael Essien, or the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. However, this is a place that contains many unique things, such as organizing a funeral more elaborate than a wedding, the father of the Coffin Dance, then letting the dead wait for a whole year before being buried, then hiring outsiders to cry. This is also the place where you can freely admire the richest gold tribe on the planet. Sandals and toenails also have gold. You also switch to indignant mode with the extremely absurd custom of offering virgins. And what else is good that everyone has to look for? Let's go to the video 7 Strange Facts in Ghana. The most expensive and elaborate funeral customs in Ghana. Ghana, officially the Republic of Ghana, is a country in West Africa, with its capital being Accra. You know, in Ghana, the cost of a funeral ranges from $15,000 to $20,000 on average, which is more expensive than the average wedding. Why there is such a high price, it is thanks to the following services. The first is dancing coffin, which was very popular on social networks in 2020 since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, becoming the most haunting sound in the world at that time. Boys wearing suits, sunglasses, and carrying coffins danced at a funeral with an electronic music song, EDM, called Astronomia, posted on social networks, garnering more than 400 million views. But few people know that its origin is from Ghana, a West African country that is richer and more successful than its neighbors, thanks to gold mining, so it is in the top 10 precious metal producers in the world. So why? A funeral that should have been sad and crying, but danced happily like a festival. That's because, according to Ghanaian beliefs, the soul of a deceased person remains close to relatives and patronizes the family. Dancing with the coffin will make the deceased feel at ease, continuing his new life in the afterlife. So no matter how poor the economy is, they still try to pay the cost of renting a dance team and carrying this coffin for up to 400 USD a time. It is so popular that the Peruvian police also danced in this style to advise people to stay at home to avoid the epidemic. Not stopping at dancing, in Ghana there is also a bonus crying service for hire. Different levels of crying will have different fees, such as standing crying, crying to the point of vomiting, crying with swollen eyes. The more tragic, touching, and professional weeping as it really is, the more people will donate more money to the family of the deceased. People here consider crying to be a symbol of the social status of the deceased, the love of their family and community for them. However, some people find it difficult to cry when a loved one dies, so they are willing to pay professional mourners to let them cry on their behalf. If you think crying makes little money, look at a woman in Henan Province, China. She earns more than $28,000 a year thanks to this special job. Second, for Ghanaians, funerals are a big event, and advertising on giant panels is advertised. They think that the more mourners the better, so they should do everything they can to pay attention. The funeral is indispensable for huge, colorful obituaries priced from nearly $600 to $3,000, placed at strategic locations in the region for as many people as possible to see. Thirdly, it is a colorful coffin. The cheapest one also costs $1,000. The most expensive one is about $5,000 to $15,000 USD. Ghanaians believe that the deceased has overcome death. They will continue their profession in the afterlife. Therefore, the dead need to be buried in a shaped coffin, representing their work while they were alive. For example, if you are a singer, you have a microphone-shaped coffin. Those who are hot-tempered have a coffin in the shape of a chili. The Mercedes-Benz car-shaped coffin is also a popular choice. It symbolizes wealthy men, owns German cars, and is in high status in society. Airplane coffins are often given to young children as a wish for success in the afterlife. Or the shape of corn, mermaid, giant shrimp and fish, crab, whatever shape you want has a picture. In addition, before burial, The body of the deceased must wait for several months or even years to be stored in a cold room to wait for the full gathering of members of the clan. Cumbersome number 2. No one dares to accept number 1. Have you seen where people wear pounds of X gold on their bodies? Men are allowed to marry many wives, but it's not criticized. That's what you'll see in the next content. Admire the richest gold tribe on the planet. Strangely, the tribe wears a pound of gold on their bodies. Slippers are also attached to pure gold. None other than the Ashanti tribe of the Akans, with a population of about 3 million people living in southern Ghana, organized like a miniature country. The identification feature is an easy game. You keep seeing someone wearing a large block of gold dangling from head to toe, with a quantity that can be up to a few kilograms. You know, Dubai people may not even be as much. For the people of this tribe, gold represents the status, class, power, soul of the tribe, and is a tool to communicate with the surrounding tribes. Therefore, people race to mint gold to wear. To this day, the Ashanti tribe still maintains the throne and for 10 years holds a sacred festival, and the king of Ghana will wear gold all over his body, so only his 2 arms need an entourage to support him because he is full of gold. The reason why the Ashanti people are rich is because they have inherited many of their father's wealth from before. This is the land of gold, which used to have the largest gold mines in Ghana. People used to use gold dust as currency or to coat the bodies of tribal dignitaries when buried. In addition, Ashanti people still maintain matriarchy, and women act as heads of households. Although matriarchal, an Ashanti man can marry many wives, and the chief alone can marry 80 wives.
Oh my God! Wow!
And the woman had to get married according to the arrangement of her parents, sometimes not knowing her husband's face until the time of marriage. Men in the Ashanti tribe can have multiple wives. However, they have almost no divorce. If a divorce occurs, both sides of the husband's family and wife will have to be responsible for repairing this relationship. Because the Ashanti believe that this is a wrong thing to the spirit world and will try not to do anything that offends the gods. Interestingly, the level of gold and silver on the other person's body is the criterion for selecting a good husband and wife. They also use gold to evaluate business partners and reliability. There was so much gold, but the people often had no food to eat, even starved. That was because the Ashanti people only traded and exchanged gold and goods with each other and rarely traded with people outside the tribe, so the food supply was sometimes insufficient. If only they would let me exchange food for gold, I would exchange all the food in the refrigerator. I would bring the gold back as a dowry that could last for 3 generations. A lot of gold is happy, but many girls who follow the following customs will only end their lives. The custom of offering virgins. Please take your time and calm down when you hear about this custom. Accordingly, Trokosi, also known as sacrificial slaves, is the custom of offering virgins to serve the chiefs or clergy. That is the price to pay for families who carry crimes such as theft, manslaughter. Because it is believed that only by physically offering the body of a virgin girl in one's family to the gods can sins be washed away, avoiding the punishment of mysterious curses. Some girls, when offered to the gods at the age of 2, actually become slaves to the gods in their first menstrual period. And then the priest begins to have the right to have sex with the victim whenever he wants. When Trokosi died, relatives had to take care of the burial themselves, and in many cases had to offer another virgin girl in their family to replace the dead Trokosi. The practice is practiced in at least 12 temples in Ghana and dozens of others in Togo and Benin, with a total of about 10,000 girls killed. Some priestesses in some temples in Ghana are now in their 5th generation of Trokosi, and they still do it in silence and pay tribute to their bodies to pay the price for a mistake they did not make. Of course, they didn't dare to hide either. because any Trokosi who were caught escaping suffered the most terrible blows of their lives. It's really scary for a girl. It's like hell for you. Why are Ghanaian women the healthiest in Africa? Don't rush to answer, just wait a moment and you'll understand. The country makes full use of its head, containing the whole world. A smart person is a person who knows how to use his head. This sentence fits Ghana very well. There is a fact that always appears right in front of you when you step into Ghana, is the sight of people wearing the whole world on their heads, especially women. Usually when transporting bags, you can either carry them on your shoulder or carry them, or use a car to transport them, right? But here, just using one head is enough. Similar to buckets, pots, water cans, buckets, or bundles of firewood that are 5 meters long or fishy, everything weighing tens of kilograms is also worn by them on their heads. When children go to school, they wear books on their heads. Construction engineers wear mortar barrels. This kind of thing for women to go to the catwalk is very fascinating. Even bulky objects can be balanced. Without a slight tilt, the books on the head in the model training course are too simple for them. Not only Ghana, the entire black continent has that habit. Do you know which sign is the hardest to remember the name? Confusing stores frequently? Yes, it is the following sign. Unique with a sign with a name full of spirituality. When you come to Ghana, you will easily come across shops with strange names such as God's Answer Accountability Company, Almighty Christ Plumbing Store, Psalm 23 Restaurant in the Bible, Thanksgiving Jesus Software Store. Many bars or beer bars also take names related to Christianity. In addition, despite their strong faith, store owners are also influenced by Western culture when combining signs with pop music styles. At a store called Grace of God Fashion Store, the image of singers Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj is painted on the signboard. Not stopping there, many stores in Ghana also changed their names so that they would not be duplicated. For example, My Enemy Is Not God. Responsible company if God is right, who can say wrong? Remembering the names of these companies is a miracle, friends. However, it is mostly found in the suburbs, countryside, and in some Muslim areas. You can also see the name of the sign with the word Allah, which means the Most High. It is known that Christianity was introduced to Ghana in the 15th century, and today there are about 10,000 churches in this pearl of the Black Continent. Ghana is the only country in the world that has a church that is open 24/7. As a result, people no longer want to go to the fields to farm and work, but only go to church to pray in the hope that God will give them food. Ghana struggles with a tsunami of old clothes. Unique to Ghana, not fishing, but catching clothes. On an early day in 2024, Ni Arma and his 30-person fishing team encountered a wave of old clothes washed ashore, which was product thrown down from the nearby Kantamanto market. Kantamanto is the largest boxed clothing market on the planet, 7 hectares wide, the world of second-hand believers. According to statistics, Ghana became the world's largest importer of used clothes in 2021, mainly imported from China, the UK, Canada, including used shoes and bags. This is the time when you see the silhouettes of women walking 16 kilometers with a pile of things on their heads to each booth. They are usually packed into blocks weighing more than 67 kilos. Most of which are charity items, recyclables, or non-purchased goods that have been stored for years in warehouses. There are up to 30,000 workers working in the market, including sellers, tailors, clothing workers, or transporters. About 6 million products of relatively better quality are sold to the market each week, but up to 40% are classified as garbage. And this is the threat. The capital of Accra has to spend about $500,000 a year to collect and dispose of waste items from the Kantamanto market, but can only process about 70%. The rest, 1, is burning to pollute the air, 2 is to wash into the sea, making turtles unable to swim to the shore, corals gradually dying, Fishermen no longer have fish to catch. From 2010 to 2020, 10 legal landfills in the city were overloaded and had to be closed. In this video, please comment on environmental protection to call on people to litter less. Do you remember the tribe wearing gold all over their bodies mentioned above? So you have to go and see what Ghana has to do for the people to play so big. How rich are Ghana's resources? Although Ghana's GDP in 2022 is $85.96 billion, a figure that is not too impressive, it is a lucrative prey for countries. If in Asia, Vietnam is a country rich in resources, a lucrative bait of France and the United States, in the Black Continent, Ghana is a country that owns abundant mineral resources and huge gold reserves, ranking second in Africa and fourth in the world in diamond reserves. In addition, Ghana is also rich in scarce reserves of oil, iron ore, and manganese ore. With a favorable position when owning huge mineral reserves, this place can buy and sell gold easily at a low price. As long as you see a river here, you can salvage gold sand there. Although gold mines have been mined for more than 500 years, according to the assessment of current mineral reserves, Ghanaians estimate that they can be exploited for another 700 years. That is why, from the 15th to the 20th centuries, Ghana continuously became a colony of Portugal, Britain, and the Netherlands. However, in 1957, Ghana became the first African country to gain independence. The monuments that still exist in the capital Accra are historical witnesses that honor the freedom of the Black Continent. Every year, on March 6th, Ghana's Independence Day, at the Black Star Square in the center of the capital Accra, a solemn parade takes place. Not far away is the park, tomb, and monument of Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of independent Ghana, clad in Italian marble. Traces of the transatlantic slave trade in Ghana today are still imprinted on 32 castles and fortresses located along the coast. In addition, Ghana is also favored by nature with a large natural forest cover area and a system of rare and precious animals and plants, the home of primates such as blue vervet monkeys, baboons, mammals such as humpbacks, hippos. If you were to rate on a scale of 10, how many points would you rate this water resource? Let's give a number below. Dear friends, so the journey to explore Ghana has stopped here. Thank you for watching the video until this moment. What impresses you most about Ghana? Please leave your opinion below in the comments section. For now, goodbye and see you again in the next videos.
With